Hey, it's Al, and welcome to another edition of Here I Stand Up. It is my little treat for all my folks and friends and people out there that like church or like the what we do in our different shows, as we try to offer you a different show almost every day of the week. And it is more of the humorous vein, but it is not like some of you might expect, me being a stand-up comedian, that it's going to be a laugh a minute. It'll be a story, a humorous story, maybe something that happened during the week, but we try to do it as organically as possible. However, I say all that, and we are changing this week, and we're going to talk about jokes, because quite a few of the members of New Life Lutheran Church very kindly try to give me jokes. They always give me the joke of the day. They're always trying to give me a funny something that they're always saying, oh, you can use that for your material. And rarely, if you realize this, comedians don't really tell jokes. They're not jokes. They are what we call bits. They are stories. They are things that we try to imagine that people do in their lives, or maybe some of the comedians out there are comics that are commenting on whether it's politics or any range of subjects. It's commentary, and that is how stand-up comedy works. But that all being said, one of the master story comedians, who I believe is one of them, is a guy named Jay Leno. Jay Leno just happened to be here in Sarasota, Florida this past weekend, and one of my very, very good friends had front row tickets to Jay Leno. He's a big fan, and as a stand-up comedian of over 30 years, what I can tell you is anybody that's aspiring to be a stand-up comedian, whether you like the material or his humor, he is the textbook person to learn the art of stand-up comedy from. And I say that with all sincerity. Everybody has different tastes, but if you really look at Jay Leno's body of delivery, of how he develops a bit and how he pays it off with a punchline, that is the guy. No questions asked. Just like we say in our church that if you want to see the textbook greatness of a message or a sermon on Sunday morning, you come join us on Sundays, either via online or in person, and see our pastor Jeff. We believe he is the best in the business. That all being said, one section of Jay Leno's show is always called Jokes to Go. And I am not stealing jokes to go from Jay Leno, but I can tell you, those of you that come to my stand-up shows, whether they're in churches or in venues, theaters, there's going to be a part of my show from now on that's going to be something that you can take home. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it yet. As I told you, what we do here is organic, and so I stumble over the sentence because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, but what I am going to say is I want to give you something to take home that you can tell your friends, because a lot of times I'll get you telling your friends, oh, we saw this comedian on Saturday night and he was just absolutely fantastic, and then somebody will go, what did he say? And then you go, well, he talked about his mom, and you can't really you don't have anything memorable. Then you go, what is his name? And you just go, oh, he was a big guy. And so hopefully this year is going to be the big change in that you're going to remember my name, Al Ernst, the Jester Dog, and you're going to hear about that in another one of my Here I Stand Up segments. But I'm going to give you my now all-time favorite. I have never heard this joke in my entire life until it got repeated to me yesterday by my friend who was in the front row of the Jay Leno show, and I mean it. And I'm a church comic. I'm a guy who's done all kinds of stuff, and I've heard a million jokes, and I've heard all kinds of jokes, but I have never heard this joke, and to me, it makes me laugh. It is one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard. So here we go. a Jewish elementary school is going on, and there is a student in that Jewish elementary school who is doing straight A's. He's doing fantastic work in all of his different subjects except for math. And for math, he is getting big fat F's, a big fat failure. The rabbi of the school kind of wonders why he does that, and he happens to be friends with the Monsignor over at the Catholic school. And they talk about it, and the Monsignor suggests, he says, hey, why don't you send this student over to my section, because they were across the street from each other. Why don't you send him over to my time for math, and maybe he'll pick up something that maybe he's just missing. And they kind of agree, and that's all great. And so that student goes over there and he takes math. And the end of the semester comes up, and this kid has gone from an F to an A plus. He is a math wizard. And it kind of confuses the rabbi, and finally the rabbi comes up to the student and goes, I got to tell you, I'm really proud of you. You've turned everything around. You're getting A pluses now in math. It is amazing what you have learned. And he says, what was the difference? Because our math curriculums are pretty much the same. What was the difference? And he said, well, Rabbi, it was one big difference. The teacher in our math class at our Jewish school just kind of tried to make math fun. And he said, I got over to the Catholic school, and I looked up, and on the wall was a guy that was nailed to the wall with a plus sign. So I knew I better get serious about this thing. Now, some of you may think that may be a little off-putting. I think it is taken in the spirit that is absolutely meant to be, and I think it has got to be one of my favorite jokes of all time. And I just have this image of a Jewish person coming over for a class and seeing hung on the wall a picture of a guy that's been nailed to a plus sign in their religion, and that to me makes me laugh. I think it makes Jesus laugh. I think it makes everybody laugh. And I want you guys to have a good week. Here I stand up.